If you're a small or medium-sized business owner, you know that feeling when you're working harder than ever, but sales just don't move the way you want. You want to be chasing those clients, but you end up spending more time putting out the fires. Bluntly, busy time is kind of on the up, and yet growth itself just doesn't show up. So here's a reality check. Most businesses aren't held back by the competition or the economy. They're held back by a handful of mistakes, patterns that the owners themselves often don't realize that they're making. And it's these mistakes that quietly choke sales before you've even had a chance to grow your business. I'm Michael Horesh, a business mentor and strategist. I'm the co-founder of the 172 group here in Israel with Shari Wright Pillow. Over the past, 2 decades, I've worked with hundreds, possibly more, of businesses, retailers, tech startups, consultants, service providers. Now, some were stuck, some were in crisis mode, some were scaling fast. I've seen both sides. And again, the businesses that stall all seem to get the same 5 things wrong. Now, fortunately, once you recognize them, you can fix them. So let's dive in. Now, mistake number 1 is often the one actually that frustrates me the most, and it goes under the title of not seeking advice. Too many business owners think that they have to do it all alone. They either don't want to look weak or they think that no one else understands their situation. And by the way, this was me some years back until I calculated the cost of my stubbornness. Very high. A client of mine in the catering business was bleeding money. He was considering shutting down. Now, like many, he would not listen to, should we call it, his better half. Oh, and by the way, women also don't listen to their partners. For months, he refused to bring in outside help. And once he finally did, he let me come in and talk to him. Things started to move very quickly. The giants of business have their mentors. They know that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a core strategy for the smart guys. Mistake number 2, not asking for reviews. I see it so often that it's just an absolute fact of life. Your happiest clients are those that would love to help you, and yet so often we don't ask them. Now, one of my key roles is to review the messaging of new websites for my clients. They put so much effort into the graphics and the homepage and the colors and what have you. But time after time, the client relegates the issues of getting testimonials and putting them out there to almost to the stage where they could just get admitted from the website. Now, I admit that my website is not the best, but my best testimonial, a real out-of-the-box affair, is put out there for immediate viewing. The golden rule is people aren't always easily convinced by what you say about yourself, but they will listen to what others say about you. And that's when your credibility rating takes a sharp shift upwards. Mistake number 3, repeating bad habits. I hear it all the time. If only I had more time, if only I had better staff, if only things would just settle down. So the truth is, those if only are excuses. They're a trap. They keep you repeating the same bad habits. Just start something. Baby steps. Don't worry if it's not perfect, because very few things are. Just do one thing differently. I've worked with so many founders who will say, if only I had more time, I'd finally launch my new service. X months later, still no launch. Why? Because the excuse has become a habit. You don't need to wait to have all your ducks lined up in a row before you start something. Because when you finally break that cycle, scheduled the launch, stripped away the distractions, the sales will move. I see it all the time. Mistake number 4, repeating what works, or not repeating what works, I should say. This one is a silent killer. I see owners of businesses stumble on something that works, maybe a campaign, maybe a referral process, maybe whatever. And instead of doubling down, they move on. A tour guide I was recently working with finally plucked up the courage to launch their business. Their first outing was an amazing success, brilliant, and then silence. They froze. By the end of our next mentoring session, they had a calendar full for 2 months, repeating what had already worked, not second guessing all the things that could go wrong. And finally, of course, possibly the most deadliest issue of all, not prioritizing what matters. Owners know what's important, but so often the what's important doesn't make it into their calendar. Let me give you an example. Yourself. Just think of one thing that you've been meaning to do, not something that's crucial, but not go around to it. Probably because it wasn't diarized. Probably because you didn't treat it as you would treat a meeting with your accountant or a potential client. It's been pushed off over and over again. But when you finally lock that meeting with yourself into the calendar, everything changes. You get back that space that you've been craving for ages. So here's the wrap. The 5 mistakes holding back business SME owners time and again. Avoiding advice, not asking for reviews, repeating bad habits, failing to repeat the good ones, and never prioritizing what matters. Fixing these does not require more hours in a day, doesn't require big budgets. It requires clarity, courage, consistency, and I would say a little bit of determination. Because when you do all of that, you unlock sales that were waiting for you there all along. Now, if you want more advice or more help on these topics, I suggest you check out video number 8, Why Your Workday Feels Like Chaos, where I dive into how you can use your time far more effectively. And if you want to keep learning practical ways on how to grow your business, we at the 172 Group post new videos twice a week. So reach for that subscribe button, helps us to help you, and it keeps your business moving forward. See you next time.